Okay, so Samara just told me that I just should start. Apparently her audio is not working right now, but I think we should get resolved that in a couple of minutes. Anyway, GM, again, I hope you're doing well. I would like to start with a very, very quick presentation about today, about us, and then dive right into the code visualization, and then running through two example projects that were part of a Cantina competition last year. The spend permission smart contract from the Coinbase smart wallet and Uniswap v4. So let me quickly share my screen. Okay, go live. Perfect. I think everybody should see my screen by now. All right. Cool. Yeah, again, welcome. And thanks a lot for the invite today, Samara in particular. Yeah, really pleased to tell you what we have provided here and what we have built for anyone to use today. So today I would like to talk about like a visual technique for smart contract analysis, and especially this visualization idea or technique. We got like a lot of inspiration from Gerard Persson here, and yeah, I definitely will talk about that a little bit. And what we are trying here is like maybe taking this a little bit to the next level, and basically doing that in a more semi-automated way instead of like manually drawing code bases. So let me just go to the agenda, a very quick intro, and then we are already going into the code visualization. Anybody of you can join and follow. Anybody is able to sign up and really follow me step by step on the two example projects that I would like to discuss today. Quickly about our team, we have a background in, on the one hand side, ML and AI, especially my co-founder Jeremy and Carrie. They're coming from the Web2 space. On the one hand side, Jeremy worked for a long time for a consumer insight startup, Carrie for a payment startup, and I basically, yeah, I'm bringing in the Web3 perspective. And then we have like a team of a couple of developers, our head of growth, Ray, and Gerard Persson is like one of our advisors here. So before we get started, please keep in mind or like have a look at the legend here. So when you start to use our platform, it can be quite overwhelming because meanwhile we have like implemented like a bunch of different symbols and different colors for different objects. So it takes a while to get used to it. But after you get used to it and you are familiar with our platform, it should really get you up to speed. So in general, what we are trying to do here, especially with the code visualization part, is to give you a deeper and faster understanding of the code bases that you are reviewing. And here, like I mentioned before, we really got inspired by Gerard. Everybody probably here knows his so-called Gerardograms. So what we are really trying to do here to really make it interactive. And by that, we are really trying to give you here a deeper insight into the code bases. So before I now jump into the application, everybody can follow me. You can either scan the QR code here or access the application via trustbytes.app. And we have like some demo projects loaded. So the demo projects that I also want to show today are preloaded, so it should be fast to get them loaded. And everything else we will see once I switch to the application now. So let me just switch. Okay. So first of all, once you have signed up, you are entering this screen here, and it's like pretty straightforward. All you need to do when you do like a new review, you are uploading your project that you have built locally, so that all the dependencies are loaded and the project is built. You upload it to our platform here, and then a knowledge graph, an interactive diagram of the code base is built out for you. Once a project is loaded, you have like all the projects that have been loaded before. On the left-hand side, you can now you can't see it now because this is like a new instance here. So there hasn't been any projects preloaded. Otherwise, you would see it on the left-hand side, and then it's also faster to load the projects again. And I'm very happy to announce like a small feature today. So you see here this drop down, and it says current contest. What we have in mind here is that we list like all the contests that are currently ongoing on Cantina. I mean, obviously only the public ones, so that you can just click on them and that you have the graph available right away. So this is like the goal for us over the next couple of days and weeks to really have like all the projects that are on Cantina to have them preloaded here, so everybody is able to load them very quickly and start reviewing the contests. And also we are thinking about like to have like the bug bounties preloaded here. But let's get started with a very simple one, which is the spend permission project from the Coinbase Smart Wallet. And with this project, I just want to show you what our platform here is actually capable of, and show you the core functionalities. What you see here, or what is happening in the background here, is that we are building out a knowledge graph based on the AST of the project. And by doing so, we are having the knowledge graph, or all the relationships of the network basically preloaded in our database. And this gives us really the edge with regards to performance compared to other open source tools. And once everything is loaded, it can take anywhere between 3, sometimes 10 minutes if it's like a really large project. Then you can click on Explore Project, and you can see here, this is like the first screen where you can get started. So on the left-hand side, you see the scope of the project. So essentially all the projects, the libraries, and once you click on a project, here you see on the right-hand side, the contract is shown, and you always have like this separation between like the code on the left-hand side and then the interactive diagram here on the right-hand side. Here in the bottom right corner, you can see the legend that I showed you in the presentation before. And like I mentioned, it takes a while to get familiar with all the different symbols, with all the different colors. But essentially what we provide here is like all kind of like security related information. So we have like symbols for assembly code that is like part of the project. We give you the information about the message sender, message value, but also about like different kind of function passes, inward passes, outward passes, influence passes. We also show you user freeform data. So this is like looking into the first version of taint analysis here, but we also show you different functions here, functions where the state is modified or where you have like a downstream call and the function modifies the state. But yeah, let's get started. So we have different levels of details here, and by right-clicking on the contract, here we have different options. We can show you the external functions or internal ones, so essentially all the different types of functions, and also the storage variables. So if we are now looking into the storage variables first, we have either the memory storage variables, or we can also show you all storage variable at once. And looking back at the legend, we have here now storage variables stored in memory and also constant or immutable storage variables. And that's not all, but now you can really start to dig deeper into the storage variables and how the contract is actually changing the state here, because we show you by which function this storage variable is read by, and also what are the functions that are changing the storage variable. So the functions that are writing into the storage variables. So here we have like the isApproved function that is reading out this storage variable, or here we can see this internal approve function that is changing the state here of this storage variable. Going back, if we're just restarting the graph, we can now look into the core functionality of this project here. And for anyone who didn't take part in the spend permission competition last year, the basic functionality of this project is that an account or a user allows subscriptions to a third party. And there are like 3 different ways how the user can do that. And this is like done, or this can be essentially understood by looking into these 3 different approve functions. So we have like the approve function, the very simple one, where essentially the user signs a transaction or gives permission to the third party for a subscription. Then we have like the approve with signature and approve batch with signature functions. And these functions are allowing the user to approve this subscription without paying the gas fees. And here it's getting interesting because there was like an internal security review done before the competition, and there was already like a severe vulnerability detected in this functionality here that was fixed. But by going through the code, Coinbase really highlighted to look into this contract that is built for this functionality in order to detect potential other vulnerabilities. And we already see it here. We have like these flame symbols here for potential vulnerabilities. Here, for now, we are just using Slither with the plan to integrate more and more open source detection tools over time. And that is like a very important part of this platform here. We are not claiming to find the vulnerabilities for you. We believe that it is still your job to find the vulnerabilities, and we do believe that this will be the case for the next couple of years. However, what we really want to achieve here is really enhancing your skills and bringing you to a state where you can faster understand code bases, deeper understand code bases. So really enabling you to become a better version of yourself. Furthermore, here you can see the red bold lines. These are user freeform data. So here are the areas of the code where potential malicious data is accepted by these functions and where potentially malicious data can come into the code. Okay, last but not least, we have some more functionalities here on the left-hand side. So here in the menu, you can simply toggle on and off like all the different objects on a contract level, but also on a function level, just to not lose track. And also what I would like to show you here on the left-hand side, above the code, we see like different types of data. So we give you like an overview about the complexity of a project by showing you what percentage of the project is like done or coded by the team. What percentage is like assembly code. And here we really try to give you like a quicker overview of the overall complexity of the project in combination also with the lines of code. And this is not only the lines of code, but also the total lines of code that are impacted by this chosen object. Also, we are giving you information about the different path types. So here we have, for example, in this function, outward passes, influence passes, and project passes. And the goal here with these data, with these KPIs, is to especially give you like a better possibility to scope projects before you actually start a review. And here our goal is that we enhance this platform with more and more data. So I'm really happy to hear your feedback on it, maybe afterwards. Okay, I think that's enough for now. Let's switch to the other project, to the Uniswap v4. To actually go through one example of a vulnerability that was actually detected by Gerard. And what I really want to show you and highlight is like how this visual technique of like viewing or building up your visual mental model can help you to detect vulnerabilities. Again, it's not like showing you like all the vulnerabilities that are potentially in a project. I mean, that should be obvious. However, we do believe that by having everything visually in front of you and in an interactive way with like a lot of security related information, we do believe it can really help you to dig deep into protocols and detect probably potentially more and more bugs that are more and more sophisticated. Okay, so we have this pool manager.sol contract here, and you see like a lot of different functions with a lot of different symbols, and you may start at one function and go from one to the another, and you will end up at this settle function at some point. Nothing special here so far. You dig deeper, you look into the outward passes here. You see that this settle function here calls an internal underscore settle function. Internal functions are always like with the dotted lines around the object symbol. And we can now highlight this by clicking focus on this function. And now having a better view on this functions and on this call, We can see the parameters here by clicking on the dotted line here and the return values. This shouldn't bother us now. But if we are now looking into the code of the settle function, we look through it and we see this if-else clause here. And for this vulnerability, this is like important to keep in mind. Also, we are reading here this comment here. If not previously synced or sync currency slot has been reset, expect native currency to be settled. This indicates that a transient storage variable is set to 0 when a transaction is started or before a transaction is started. So just to keep that in mind. If we are now digging deeper, we see that this internal settle function is reaching out to a couple of other functions. And you go through them one by one, and you might end up at this get sync currency function. Right? And here we see there's like assembly code in it, and we see this storage variable currency slot here. Okay? If we are now looking into the incoming passes here, we see, okay, this storage variable currency slot is read by this get sync function, which is before called by the underscore settle function, and this underscore settle function is called by the settle function. So we have like this way, just by connecting the dots and following the passes here, we can now understand and comprehend the way to this storage variable. And now it would be interesting, obviously, which function is actually writing into that storage variable. And we can simply see that. And we see that here we have the sync currency and reserve function. We have the reset currency function that are both writing and changing the state of the currency slot function, currency slot storage variable. And if we are now following the dots here, or connecting the dots, we see that the sync currency and reserve function is called by the sync function. And now, by having in mind that the ERC 4337 or EIP 7702 bundles multiple transactions into one bigger transaction, we might come up with the idea, oh, there might be a problem. Simply because this storage variable is set after the first transaction. And if we are now looking back at the settle function here, we see that there is this if-else clause. So a first transaction, which is part of a bundle transaction, can go through, but a second second transaction will be reverted because here you have this if-else clause of the settle function. And that means that a first transaction can influence a second ERC 4337 transaction, and this is like clearly not wanted. So that's why we have like a potential vulnerability here that needs to be figured out. Okay. So I know it looks now a little bit chaotic here, but you can always like go back and just focus on the different functions here. But what I really wanted to highlight here is that you get like a full overview of the different storage variables, functions, how they are interconnected, how they are related to each other, just by building out your own mental model here and really following step by step and building your mental model and following the different paths so that you can, in the end, get a full overview of the project. And yeah, that basically generated within seconds, almost instantly, without like drawing all these relationships manually by hand. Okay, that was basically the overview of the two different projects. And I don't want to speak too much because I would love to give you the possibility for Q&A and that everybody can come up with questions and maybe also input. Because right now we are still in our beta phase. Anybody can test it, and I know it's not perfect yet, but that's exactly why we are doing those workshops currently and talk to a lot of different security researchers here. Back to the presentation, maybe a little glimpse into the future. Right now we are here on the left-hand side, and where we want to go is more and more into the direction of providing you more and more KPIs, metrics, data that are in any kind of form related to security of a protocol. So you might think of like a threat intelligence or Tableau for security and compliance, but everything based on this code visualization. And we are really open for your input, for your feedback, where this can go and where you see potential and what kind of data or metrics or KPIs you would like to have when you do reviews. With that being said, half an hour, I think that's a good time to start the Q&A. And yeah, thanks a lot for your attention, and thanks a lot again for the invite and to speak to you today. And we are now looking forward to your input, to your questions. I hope that we can also get my co-founders, Jeremy and Carrie, on the stage. That would be great. And yeah, thanks again. All right. Perfect. Yes, Jeremy.
Thanks for your attention so far. So feel free to ask your questions. We're happy to answer all of them.
Okay, no questions so far. Maybe, Carrie, do you want to talk about like some functionalities or features that we are about to implement over the next couple of days and weeks? Can you hear us? Otherwise, I will do it. Perfect. Yeah, so you've seen what we have currently implemented. Next steps would be that we also enable like the direct import from GitHub. Also, what we are really excited about is like to implement like all the running contests and bug bounties from Cantina, so that you have like every project there preloaded to start reviewing them. And another exciting functionality will be that we will enable that for using within teams. So that entire teams can work on the same project and storing notes for other team members in the code and in the diagram, and really making this more engaging for like entire security teams to do reviews. Also, we are fully aware that this is like a web-based application at the moment. So we are currently working on a solution to have this application also locally run. So for that, we would need to essentially build a separate application that can be run on your machine so that the source code is not leaving your machine. Many of you who are involved in private audits are aware of this issue simply because you are under NDAs and you're not allowed to share the code base with any third party. So here we are also looking into a solution. And then clearly we are also looking into implementing more and more metrics and KPIs. So I'm really curious what you think, what you can or what you would like to see here, what would be helpful in your reviews. But definitely working on like a better scoping functionality here, or like a faster scoping process where we assist security firms and security teams to assess the project in a faster way, to make an estimate about the complexity, for example, of the project that is to be reviewed, in order to come up with a reasonable offer, and that has like benefits for both sides, right? Not only for the security firm that can plan the resources accordingly, but also for the protocol, because they know how long an audit takes, and also don't spend too much money on an audit. So these are like some of the features that we are about to implement.
There were some questions in the chat. One was if we're adding Rust or Solana. This is something we are currently looking into, as well as we see the market also growing. We just started with EVM because it's currently the biggest part of the market, but looking into Rust, Go, and so on as well. Then another one is if it can handle complex contracts. So Jonah showed you the complexity score and so on. And if there are also inherited contracts, yes, this is directly visible in the app as well. Wishes for a dark mode.
Great.
Noted.
Noted. Okay. Any other feature requests or feedback? For us, it would be extremely valuable if you could tell us like under which circumstances you could imagine to use our application or to implement our application into your workflow. That would be extremely helpful. Okay. Yeah, there's a question regarding paid tool or free features. So at the moment, I mentioned it, we are still in beta. We collected like a lot of like input and feedback over the last couple of weeks and months, and we are about to close the beta in the next 2 or 3 weeks. However, for now it's free, everybody can test it, and currently we are thinking about the best way to have like a free part that remains free and can be used by anyone. And then at some point, yeah, a paid feature as well, or a paid version.
Just one suggestion to also visualize deployed verified contracts. Yeah, we are also going to add that and block it explores. Just GitHub will come next.
Can application detect or visualize functions, the read and write storage variables on cross contracts? So far, not. I think. Oh, we can, Carrie? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thanks. I've talked to Alex in Bangkok at DSS. Yeah, otherwise, you can always reach out to us. So you have like our Twitter. So I will just post it here in the chat again. You can always reach out there. Otherwise, yeah, just contact us through our website if there are like any questions. We also have like a Discord channel. So there are several ways to contact us. Okay, I think that's it. And thanks again for your attention. And yeah, if there's like anything else, just reach out.